Okay, this is attempt number 2. Hello, hello. Okay, we're trying this one more time. It'll work. Let me just send a message. And while we're actually doing this, I am getting the price on a gun that's going to be interesting for this. Hello. Okay. I just decided to do a new one, so I'm going to share that. And it actually gives me an opportunity to get a price on one of the brand new released guns. Okay, and it looks like the emails just went out for that as well. See, Joe, aren't you glad that you weren't on this live stream, because we would have the tech issues? But yes, okay. So hopefully Alex joins in as well. So while we're waiting for folks to show up, what new videos do you have planned? How does he not find it? I'm gonna share this in one other place. Awesome. I know you were actually talking about doing that in the past. And I gotta tell you, I mean, I really learned from the Ruger video that you did. That was actually really interesting. And it was very good quality too. I'm thoroughly impressed, and I'm glad you got it figured out a way how to turn the camera the proper way. Very cool. Okay. So this is actually interesting. I guess we can talk about it. I guess we can jump right in. All right. And I get started. All right. I will edit this for the recorded video. All right. What's up, everyone? Welcome, Squad Squad, and welcome to Slav Guns. I'm glad to have you here for attempt number 2 of Slav stream number 7. Today, we released a video a little bit earlier today, which was talking about chronographs. So hopefully you enjoyed it, if you watched it. And if you haven't watched it already, I'll try to include a link, and I'll throw it up in chat and in the description. But just go to youtube.com/SlavGuns, and you'll find the link there. The primary reason why I did it is I've been using a chronograph, I guess, for the last 8 years or so, ever since I started reloading. And I've had multiple conversations with people who want to get into hand loading or reloading, and they're talking about spending thousands of dollars on their equipment, but one thing that they fail to take into account is they don't allocate any money for chronographs, which is just like, okay, what's going on with that? And there are plenty of resources available out there. I mean, you have Hodgdon Load Data Online. You have plenty of data from the past that people have scanned in on forums, and they freely share the data. And the same thing, I mean, you have a lot of reloading manuals, which are excellent tools, and absolutely everyone should have one. The problem is, I look at the load data that's out there and it's published as a good starting point rather than something concrete. Because no two guns are the same, and we have a gunsmith here who's a fellow friend, Shooting Gallery Northeast, and he will even tell you that no two guns are the same. So that's why you need to have a chronograph, because it'll tell you exactly what your ammunition, particularly hand-loaded ammunition, is doing in the gun that you're shooting. So it's not even just about the accuracy potentials and working with it that way. It's rather more simply about safety as well. So do watch that video, and we're going to follow up with part 2 and likely 3. And we're going to take a deeper look into optical chronographs. We're going to look at the magneto speeds, and then we're going to look at the latest and greatest, which is the Doppler radar, aka the lab radar. So I'm looking forward to working with those videos, and I do have 2 out of 3. I'm hoping I'll have a magneto speed, or I can borrow a magneto speed, so we can definitely take a deep dive into that, and we'll bring in other people who have used them all. Now, I mean, one is not better than another. They all, much like handguns, different brands, different styles, there's a purpose, and there are things you can do with certain chronos that you can't do with others. The really cool part is that technology has progressed so much that, I mean, it's not like if you have a 1911 that's 50 years old or a 1911 that's 5 years old. I mean, it's pretty much going to be exactly the same thing. But with chronographs, even my 8-year-old CE products, competitive electronics chrono, I paid about $130, $140 for it before, but now for $100 I can get a chrono that's going to do exactly the same thing, plus it's going to give you Bluetooth capability for your apps. It's going to give you ability to download your data instead of having it written down on a piece of paper. So technology has really improved with data. Hey Donnie, welcome. Hopefully you can stick around for more than 5 minutes instead of just going, hey, I gotta go put my kids to bed. So definitely check it out. And for those who are not familiar, DH in chat, that's Donnie Hayes of, well, I'll jump right into it. And, hang on. We have to Chrome. 1 second, guys. This is what happens when I reset it and it doesn't see it, which is really, really silly. And Joe, I completely understand why you do not use Streamlabs or OBS, because when things break, they break. Let me actually just change this here real quick. Alright, so we're going to remove that, and we're going to add new source, display capture. There we go. Haha. There. All right. So hopefully you can see my screen right now. Thank you, Donnie and Deflector Break, for sponsoring our channel. If you haven't watched my video on the Deflector Break, it's absolutely a must-have accessory for your AR-15. You can use them for multiple other guns. They work in all calibers. I've given out a couple of these, and everyone who's put one of these on their gun absolutely freaking loves it. Best of all, it's fairly cheap, so it's $15.99, $3.50 for shipping. That's going to give you a 4-pack of deflectors. In my guns, they've lasted right around 1,200, 1,300 rounds with absolutely zero issues, and you have all the prep stuff for it that you need. Best of all, you can use the promo code SLAV, S-L-A-V, and you can save 10%. So definitely buy it, deflectorbreak.com. Moving on, new gun stuff. So I've done a video on the Zev OZ9. I did a kind of like a quick intro video on them, and they kind of blew my mind recently. So I was on Instagram and I saw they had a new post, which was they announced a trade-in program. So you can trade in a stock Glock, so Gen 3, 4, or 5, model 26, 19, 19X, 17, 34, 48, 45, 42, 43, and 43X. And you can get either $400 or $500 off towards a brand new OZ9. So basically, if you're like most, I would say, passionate gun owners who do have at least 1 or 2 Glocks just laying around not doing anything, you can send it in and you're going to get $400 or $500 on an OZ9, which is going to bring the price down of a new one down to about $1,000 to $1,100, which is a fantastic deal on an OZ9. And I do have 2 OZ9s, so I have the regular 17 size with the fretted barrel that I've been running with various suppressors and love it. And I'm going to do a more detailed video on that. And I also have the competition size, which is the size of the 34 without the fretted barrel, and that's going to be a good gun. We're going to do a detailed dive on it. Speaking of that, so a lot of the content when we started, we did a lot of handguns, but then we really dove deep into the precision rifle series. And we've been doing rifles, and the heck, today I'm talking about chronos. I do have a stack of many handguns that we are going to try to knock out and go into overdrive before SHOT Show. So that's January 19th. So basically over the next month, I'm going to try to get you at least 5, 6, maybe 7 handgun videos. Because I know once SHOT Show starts, we're going to have all of those brand new guns that are going to be coming out. And so I'll kind of give you an example. One of them that I just picked up yesterday is a Walther PPK S in 22, which I actually asked for back in July, along with the Walther PPK S, the American-made one, in 380, and it finally came. Then I got something really awesome here that I cannot talk about. But I promise you, it's so epic. It's absolutely gun of the decade. Probably. Nah. Gun of the year for sure. Actually, you know what? Because it's going to be launched 2020, yeah, it'll be gun of the decade for at least a year or so until we get the new stuff. I'm really excited about that. I'm just waiting for some ammo to come in. And I'll have a video for the time when they do the announcement. So it's going to be really cool. I'm looking forward to it. There's one more other new gun that's yet to be announced. That's going to be cool. Now, the brand new guns that were just announced, so I guess let's start with the biggest male genitalia tease, which almost seems like a complete letdown, which is the Glock 44. And you guys let me know, is it a letdown or not? So on December 10th, so a week, 8 days ago, Glock announced the Glock 44. Now, before diving into the gun, just to kind of preface this, Glock sent out email blast to everyone, media people, everyone who was on the Glock email list, everyone got it. And Glock made massive announcement talking about epic and big and everything. And a lot of the people in the know, they kind of expected a Glock carbine. And then Glock announces this. So it's the Glock 44. It's a Glock 19 that's basically a 22. What's interesting about it, so I guess on one hand, yes, it's a Glock in 22, which there should have been one to begin with. Considering that, I mean, look, there's nothing wrong with Glock. I have a next level training gun that I actually play around with because one of my two home defense handguns is a Glock 22 in a 40 cal. And then I use this NLT. What it is, it shoots a laser. Ah, crap. Well, no, this isn't a real gun, so we're gonna test the new live stream YouTube live stream rules, which we'll get into in a bit. But in any case, so most everyone has a Glock, but you need something to train with. And the fact that they didn't have a 22 official conversion kit or anything kind of was a big letdown. And they came out with it. So instead of having to go out and buy who was the company that made them? Something Advantage made Glock 22 conversion kits. And some of them were working fine, others were not working as well. But it was basically the closest thing. If you have a Glock that you wanted to train with on a cheaper basis, this was basically the only way that you can do it. So what's unique here, so it is Glock 19 size, so the bottom end of the gun is basically a Glock 19 5th gen. Now the top, and I understand why they did it, but I think it looks hideous. So you have an inner portion which is steel. Tactical advantage, thank you, Joe. So you have the inner portion which is steel, and then the outside seems to be polymer. Almost like the FN57. And one of the reasons to do that is, I guess if the stock Glock upper was so beefy that 22 wouldn't be able to cycle it reliably, that's why they kind of needed to save a little bit of weight. Honestly though, I'd rather they just did a lot of slide cuts and kept the entire slide metal. Okay. All right. The good news is I know exactly what the problem is. So I will have it fixed for next time. It's my new wireless card. Instead of having it hardwired, I actually had it wireless, and that's why it was causing the issues. So I do apologize for that. All right, let's go back to the browser. All right. So with Glock, hey, what the heck just happened here? Okay. So the biggest letdown is that even though it's Glock 19 size, it only has 10 round capacity. Okay. All right, now I'm back in setup. Thank you guys. So, I don't know. Let me know. What do you think? I mean, is 10 rounds a deal breaker for you or not? I guess one of the handguns, and I've actually teased it in the past, is the Taurus TX22, and that has 16 round capacity. You have other 22s which are 15. So the fact that this is only a 10 rounder, it's kind of like, what's going on with that? It'll be interesting. Yeah. But the good news is I think the MSRP should only be about $350. Um, I don't think they have it listed here. But it's most definitely already at the distributors. Coming January 20th, so we'll see it at SHOT Show. Yes, for life behind enemy lines, you have 10 round mags. um, yeah. But like I said, I mean, even though I don't know if I would buy it, but I'm sure Glock is gonna sell millions of these guns. Because once again, if you're training with a Glock for a home defense type gun, or if you're on duty or anything, you're gonna just go buy one. Like I said, it's just insulting that it only comes with 10 round mags. I would love it if it had a fretted barrel, so you can put a suppressor on it, because a lot of the fun with 22s is actually running it with a suppressor. So yeah. So moving on, 2 days later, we had Smith and Wesson. They announced the Shield EZ in 9mm. So, is it fun and exciting? I don't know, but it's a cool gun. So I've done a video on a 380. I've done a video on the Shield EZ 380, and one of the things, and even when I talk to the company, I'm like, look, just make this a 9mm, and it's going to be one of the best guns that you're going to have for concealed carry. Once again, the difference between the Shield EZ and the regular Shield is that even though it looks pretty much the same with the exception of this sticking out, the gun is actually quite different. So while the regular Shield is a striker fired, somebody correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm 99% positive it's regular striker fired. I do have one downstairs that I haven't played with yet. But the Shield EZ is actually an internal hammer fired gun. As such, you don't have that little dingus in between, and it's a really crisp trigger. I really like the Shield EZ 380. The other difference on here is, instead of having like the dingus drop safety, you have a 1911 style grip safety. And you also have it with the manual thumb safety, which is like a 1911 style safety. So with a thumbs forward grip, you'll be able to ride the safety and shoot it that way. Undercut trigger guard, which is really good. The slide release is not too obtrusive. And one of the best parts is on the back, you have two little places where you can grip. So the scalloped serrations are a little bit bigger, so it's much easier to rack the slide. Along with that, there's a lighter recoil spring in there. So I guess like I called it a gun for noobs. It's easier to rack. So that, like I said, by making it a 9mm, it's natural. Really good gun. I don't have one yet. I don't have any complaints about it if it's going to be anything close to the Shield EZ 380. And I'm sure we're going to sell a lot of them. What would be interesting to see is actually the breakdown between the Shield EZ and the regular Shield going forward. My personal take on this, and let me know in the chat, if you went with one of these two guns, which would you go for? Would you go for the Shield EZ or the regular Shield? I think this gun is going to cannibalize a lot of Smith's existing Shield sales. And I suppose this is also why they did a big rebate on the Shields before they release the Shield EZ9. Because, I mean, you're able to pick up a Shield for, what was it, like $200? It was $250 minus a $50 rebate. So it's going to be a nice gun. Looking forward to playing with it. I'll probably... I'm going to request one so we can do a video on it here. But I don't know whether it's going to be here in time or I'm going to have a first chance to shoot it at SHOT Show. So we'll definitely shoot it at SHOT Show. All right. And then moving on from the cheap to the really expensive. Make it 10 millimeter. I think if you had this gun in 10 millimeter, you would destroy your hand. And you'd have to put a fairly... It wouldn't be easy, though, because, I mean, the recoil spring on that you would need to put on there would be fairly tight just to withstand it. But that would be cool, wouldn't it be? To have a concealed carry in a 10 mil. Would be interesting. But I would do like a metal frame. But it would be cool. Alright, so moving on from the cheap to the slightly more expensive. H&K, they've released their pistol, which is the SP5. It's $2,700. HK, we're better than you and we know it. Once again, I don't have one of these. I will be asking for one of these. I am not the biggest aficionado of MP5s. I have shot a couple. I like them. But I don't know enough of the interchangeable details. But this is a civilian HK MP5. The only thing listed, it's not an SBR. You would need to add a brace or a stock and then make it an SBR. Pretty much, so TFB did a good video on this, comparing the differences. Basically, I think inside the receiver, there are a couple of small differences, but otherwise, it's an HK Civilian SP5. And we're going to sell a ton of these, and there's enough HK fanboys out there who will pay $2,600, $2,700 for this, much like pretty much anything else HK. The one complaint that people are having so far is that instead of having the diopter sights in the back, it has like various notches in the back, which in that case, I think I'd rather have a regular post in the front if you're going to do the notch. So it's going to be cool. I'm going to try to request one. I'm also going to try to get a copy made by Zenith, which are Turkish-made guns. And apparently, talking to a friend who is all about the HK SP5s, he says that this Zenith is basically just as good. And this is a guy who has a lot of MP5s. And those are also a lot cheaper too. So it'll be interesting. Now, moving on, also military-style pistols. Got an email a little bit earlier. Let me know if you heard about this or not. So SIG is releasing the M17 surplus pistols. The whole deal with this, so it's an P320, that were sent to the military, and a lot of them were used, but they were returned in exchange for new ones with the controls being in black rather than tan. So a whole bunch of these guns were sent back to SIG, and SIG is reselling these. I don't know how I feel about this. On one hand, I really, really do want one because I think this is a new piece of history. So here's your opportunity to get a gun that was used by the military. And SIG does have a video on this. Actually, we can watch this.
Hey everyone, Phil Strader here at Sig Sauer, and over the last couple of years, you've probably seen
video.
me in a few pistol product videos. And today I've got something really special here for you. But before I cover it, let's rewind a couple of years when Sig Sauer was awarded the M17 contract to the U.S. Army. It was a big day for us, and we actually shipped out a lot of guns to the 101st and the 82nd and a couple other units when we first got started. Now, since then, we've shipped over 100,000 pistols to the military, but there's a chance for you to own a little piece of history, and it's right here in this box. This is the M17 Surplus, and we're going to go over exactly what it is and the features it has right now. First, let's cover exactly what's in the box. You'll see it's a standard cardboard box, just like what was issued to the U.S. military, and the gun is in its original configuration. That means it has all Coyote tan controls, the slide catch lever, the manual safety, the back slide cap, the sear housing, takedown lever, trigger. It's all finished in the original Coyote tan. Now, as the contract matured, we were able to switch to black controls and a different colored slide. The Army, in this case, wanted to get all the new guns with the new controls and everything, so they just sent us back these and we issued them new guns. It was a lot easier to do that than it was to refinish all the parts and refinish the slides with the right colors and configuration. So this is an example of a real returned pistol that was issued and deployed by the U.S. military. Now, what does that mean as the purchaser of this pistol? Well, first off, is this pistol was tested and configured to go with the military spec ammunition, which happened to be very high pressure, or what commercially we would call plus P ammo. So if you're going to shoot plus P ammo out of this pistol, you'll have no problems. However, if you want to shoot standard ammo, let's say non-plus P standard 9mm ammo, you will want to probably put in this. We're going to include one of these in the box. It's an additional guide rod assembly with an orange painted spring, so you can designate this is going to be your standard velocity 9mm guide rod assembly. It's super easy to exchange out. You just take the old one out, put the new one in. It's all covered in your owner's manual, which is an authentic M17 owner's manual as well. But it doesn't stop there. You're also going to get one 17-round magazine, of course, with a Coyote tan base pad, and it's going to come standard with 2 additional 21-round extended magazines in the box as well. So what you get is all Coyote controls, all the mag configurations, and additionally, you get all of the unique markings on the slide and the unique serial number. This is a contracted serial number, and you get your government part numbers on the slide. It's all marked exactly the way it was when it was issued to the U.S. military a couple years ago. And another thing is this gun was issued and deployed, so it's being sold as a used firearm, and depending on how much use your pistol received in duty is what kind of condition it's going to come in. So it could be very, very new like this one, or it could be something like this model here. This gun has seen some action. It's got a lot of wear on it. It actually has an inventory number still on the grip. So the long and short of it is, no matter what condition the gun is in, these guns have been tested to military specifications and they run like tops, regardless of whether they're in really pretty condition or not. So to wrap it all up, you get a previously issued, authentic military pistol with all the magazines, the packaging, an extra spring in case you want to shoot your standard velocity ammo out of it, and moreover, you get a chance to own a piece of history right here from SIG. If you want to learn more about the M17, make sure to go to our website at sigsauer.com, and don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel for all of our latest videos.
All right, so it sounds cool, and I definitely want one, but so you have a, what if, so for a used gun, for military used gun, what do you expect the price to be? Do you expect it to be higher or lower? So keep in mind, you can get the civilian M17. You have the regular P320, you have the civilian M17, and you have these authentic trade-in from the military. Now, what do you expect the prices to be? Drop a comment. Joe, you're thinking like a true business person. So when you're buying like law enforcement trade-in guns, you typically expect to get a pretty good discount, right? So I sent out a text to dealers in my network about them, and one of them quickly replied. So you have a regular P320 is about $550. A 9mm M17 civilian version is $668.75. And for the military one, for these surplus trade-ins, $775. So you're paying $80 more to get a used gun, and basically 200 versus the 200 extra versus the regular P320. So I don't know how I feel about that. I mean, like, on one hand, it's history, and for a gun collector, this would absolutely be a cool collectible gun. But to pay more for a, right here, certified pre-owned pistol is a little insulting. I don't know. Maybe I'm salty about this. But in full fairness and disclosure, I did send an email to SIG to see if I can get one for testing and evaluation. Would I buy one? I don't know. And to be honest, I don't think the SIG P320 is God's gift to Earth. I think there are other better polymer pistols out there. But as a collector, and Affordable Optics and I were discussing my gun collection and what I think is a good amount versus not. I would love to have it for the collection, just purely from that perspective. But I was hoping it would be at least a little bit cheaper than a new version, especially when you're factoring in, okay, I mean, there's the collectability standpoint, but then you're also playing the roulette whether you're going to get one almost new or one that's going to be marked up and made ugly. So, yeah, there's that. But as Affordable Optics also pointed out, so SIG also announced today their brand new cross rifle. So this is interesting. It's a precision hunting bolt action rifle. Precision hunt. All right. Okay, cool. We are back. I got this one figured out quickly. All right, so we have this guy. Very cool rifle. Okay. Half. Okay. Okay. Yes. Somebody give me a yes? All right, cool. So I figured out what it is. It's actually the trashy little USB wireless adapter that worked just fine until it got plugged out. So somebody's going to be leaving a very bad review. All right. Cool. All right, so let's finish it up before that thing breaks. I plugged it in a different place, so it should be okay. Get back on here. All right, so this is interesting. It's a cross rifle, and I guess it's a cross between precision and hunting. Definitely unique. I like that it uses. So I think this is going to be very similar to a Ruger precision rifle, and let me explain why. So, you have the Mossberg MVP, and you have a lot of traditional bolt-action rifles, or the ones that use a chassis. But what they're doing is you're replacing a stock with a metal chassis, but all of the recoil still has to go through typically 2 bolts. With the Ruger precision rifle, think of it kind of like an AR, where the barrel goes inside the actual receiver, and the receiver is part of the overall gun. The Mossberg MVP that we did a video on, despite it looking like a traditional rifle, despite it looking like a chassis type gun, is in fact a regular action. They just covered in stuff. This has the barrel going in very similarly to an AR and basically the Ruger precision rifle. So it's going to have inherent accuracy as a result of it. You do have the rail, 20 MOA base. You do have a folding stock. Looks kind of cool. It's going to be interesting to see how it goes. AR style pistol grip, and obviously it's a AI or AR style mags. It's going to be available in 2 calibers when it comes out. Well, I guess 3. 6.5 Creedmoor, 308, and the new 277. The hell do we call it? SIG's new 277, which is a 308 neck down to a 6.8 bullet. Now, this gun is 277 Ferry. Duh, I should look at it right there. It's only going to come with a 16 or an 18-inch barrel, which is interesting. And let me know what your take on it is. So in 6.5 Creedmoor with an 18-inch barrel, I mean, you're still going to be able to shoot out to about 1,000 yards or so. You're going to be giving up velocity for sure. And then it's going to depend on who makes the barrels, whether it's actually SIG or who they have contracted out for them, to see what kind of accuracy we're going to get on the gun. But I am going to request one of these. It's definitely going to fit in the precision rifle series, and I'm really interested in shooting it. So I think at SHOT Show we'll have it, and hopefully the SIG has a booth at the long 1,000-yard range, so we can really stretch it out and see what we can do. One of the things I'm noticing right now is that the trigger, it doesn't have a dongle in between. It looks like a regular trigger. So 2-stage trigger. We'll see. And the gun is fairly light. 6.8 pounds, 6.5 or 6.8 pounds. And it does come in 2 finishes. So we have this First Light camo. Now, some people like camo. I'm not a fan of camo, but it'll be interesting. So, yeah. It'll be fun. What's your take on it? Who's interested? Who's going to buy one? Price-wise, we're estimating right around $1,600, which for precision rifle, if it shoots sub MOA, is going to be a very good price for it. Looks at, I like the folding stock. I like that it's adjustable. What kind of adjustments are they? Let's see, can we zoom in? Now, the only thing I don't see on here is how it's going to be adjustable. Whether it's going to be adjustable like with a thumb wheel and it's going to make it easy to adjust, or whether, like, okay, here you have for length of pull, it looks like you have an wait, is it back? Oh, wow. Never mind, we're back. All right. Yay, we're back. I am sorry. This is like really driving me nuts. Okay, so the camera should be restarted. All right, cool. We're live again. Let me see. What was the comment in chat? Buying one first. Already got a Tika. So actually, speaking of Tika, so $50. Why did you sell your Bergaras? That's very interesting. I do want to discuss that. And then, so Tika, I didn't realize, but Tika has the T3 tactical Jigma thingy. T3 tac, that guy. That looks interesting. And the reason I bring it up, so in the near future, I'm going to have an accessory for the Ruger Precision Rifle. And then we're also making one for the T3 Tactical. And it looks really interesting. I don't want to talk about it yet until I get it, and we're definitely going to do a video on. So actually, Affordable Optics is in here. He's a huge fan of Tika. On the Bergaras, what's interesting is, so you have a lot of people, they are sub-MOA guaranteed, if I'm not mistaken. I am waiting to receive 2 different Bergaras. In 6.5 PRC and 300 PRC, but there's like a big wait. What makes Bergaras and why there's a wait for them is, from my understanding, is you have one person who starts and works on the rifle from start to finish. As such, there's big backlogs. As such, you're also going to be able to get a gun that's pretty much a semi-custom gun for standard production prices. The issue is that your gun is as good as the person who built it, which is very different from the Ruger Precision, and actually pretty much all of the Ruger guns, where all of the guns come from the production line, then you just have people assemble them together. Not so with the Bergaras. And if you go on Sniper's Hide forum, you have a lot of people who either really love their Bergaras or they can't get them to shoot well. And they have to do other things, primarily with the bedding, in order to get them to actually shoot fairly well. So, they shot sub MOA, but my Savage heavy barrels. Yep. Anyway, so yesterday I was at a gun auction, and we're going to do a video on that. But we had 2 brand new in box Bergara B14 HMRs that I was like, okay, well, if it's, I really wanted to buy them, but the price was. Okay, I think this is going to be back in a second. This is just really weird. The webcam is going to restart in a second, guys. So I guess let's finish it up, I guess, for when we're here. So yeah, so the Bergara is just. I'm waiting to get them as testing and evaluation samples, but I've been told maybe like another month or so. But I was like, okay, I've been waiting for a while, and so one was in 6.5 Creedmoor, one was in 308, so I figured if they're going to be like around like $500, $600, I'd just buy them. But they ended up for about $700 plus the auction fee, so pretty much like mid-8s. And I was like, I'll just skip it. Plus there were other guns that I wanted to get. So, but I did hear back from Christensen Arms. It looks like we'll probably get 1 or 2 guns in 6.5 PRC from them. So that's going to be good. I'm really looking forward to a couple of their guns. But also, do any of my fellow creators here, do you guys have a contact with Tika, or do I have to wait till SHOT Show? Because I do want to try this, the T3X Tech. Action looks pretty nice on it, and I haven't shot a Tika yet. From Christensen, I've played with this gun at a Cabela's in 300 PRC, and it looks fantastic. Actually, I think it was this one. And this is the one I was interested in. So it's a little bit out of our scope of the series, but I think this is going to be really good. Okay, Alex, now was that their contact person from North America, the United States, or Canada? I am in the Northeast, not Kentucky. But although we will be going to the creek, hopefully in the spring, so we can definitely drive by and get together. Yeah. So this looks interesting. So Christensen Arms, I mean, they're very well known for good barrels. So we'll play with this. And then I do. So in the beginning of the Precision Rifle series, we had our hope of a 1,000-yard gun for $1,000, 1,500 yards for $1,500. I think I'm just gonna switch it. I'm fairly positive I can do it. We're gonna do, well, gun and optic is definitely gonna be $1,500, and it's gonna be a 1-mile gun. I thought my cat was underneath my feet. And it's going to be... Actually, I might as well share it. Why not? So we have the Ruger American rifle. And they just announced this guy. So the first Ruger American in 6.5 PRC. Which is going to be awesome. So MSRP $629. I figure street price should be... Very nice. We'll be in touch. $50. Click on my channel page and send me a message. Channel page about, and you'll have my email there. So we're going to have this guy, the Ruger American rifle, in 6.5 PRC. So $629. I'm figuring street price of right around $500, and we're gonna chuck the basic stock, and we're gonna replace it with either a chassis. So there's a couple of companies that have reached out to. One makes a chassis, one makes a really nice stock. Worst case, I guess we'll go with Magpul and get the Predator type stock, and it's definitely going to be sub MOA. And for an optic, I've covered it in the past. We have this guy. So I've covered the Latitude F-Class, which was the 8-32. And I was really impressed with it. So I requested the 6-24 front focal plane. The 6-24 front focal plane version. Now, in full fairness, this is actually the second one. They sent me the first one about 2 or 3 weeks ago, actually the same time as I got the SIG BDX scope. But it was, so there's some companies that will send out brand new scopes for testing, and there are other companies who are going to send products from their demo pool. SiteMark sends a lot of products that were, so for example, I'm going to test out a scope, and then they're going to return it to the company, and then the company is going to do quality assurance on it, and then they're going to send it out to the next rider in line. And this way the company saves money, and granted, there's like a lot of products that people are not just interested in keeping. The sample that I got was clearly used. I had a couple of issues with it. So, I mean, there was like some tightness in the magnification ring, and there were a couple of quirks with the reticle. So I'm like, okay, before I do the review, I sent an email to my SiteMark rep. I'm like, hey, can you send me a brand new one? And they did. And so far, playing with this, it is a fantastic scope. Now, is it like my Mark V HD? No. You can definitely still see the difference in the glass quality in the low light hours, but it's 95% of the optic for about 25. All right, and it looks like it's back again. And it's back again. Wow. Okay. The only other thing I can think of is my wife is using the baby monitor, which is on the same frequency. Although I thought we fixed it. Okay. Looks like, yes, we're back. All right. In any case, so really, really good optic for about 5. Oh, it looks like the webcam just died. Activate. Done. Okay, can you guys... Alright, so you can probably hear me, but just don't see the webcam. Alright. We'll just skip the webcam. So yeah. We're going to take the gun, call it 500. We're going to find a chassis. That's going to be, call it 200 to 400, depending on who we go with. And then we have an optic, so about $1,200 all in. We should get a really good gun, and then in the spring we're gonna go and we're gonna shoot it anywhere, hopefully up to 2,100 yards with that gun. And well, like I said, one of the reasons why I chose 6.5 PRC in particular is that easy to load for, and we should be able to get, I mean, with a slightly hotter load, we should stay supersonic out to 1,900 yards. As long as we can push the bullet out to about 3,000 feet per second, which we should. Otherwise, like I said, the other guns, regular 147s, it's rated as 2910, and out of the Hawkeye, out of a 26-inch barrel, we got 2950. And now the one thing to keep in mind is that this is going to be a 24-inch barrel. So, yeah. It'll be a little bit slower, but we might have to push a little bit. But really looking forward to it. All right, so on that note, before we have any more wireless issues, and once again, I'm not going to blame YouTube on this one. It really is me. We're going to wrap it up. As always, thank you for joining. Hopefully you enjoyed the videos, both this live stream and the video I did on Chronos. And I will see you next time. Thank you, everybody.